This is cellular medicine. It's very easy to be depressed when you're in pain. If you wake up and you feel great, and you got a view like that, good day. I'd done my research, and had known that people had success, and at this point in my life, the cumulative damage that I've done to my body, especially my neck, shoulders, had gotten to the point where surgeries weren't relieving anything. I didn't want to get my neck fused, and so I started looking at alternative procedures. I actually broke my neck twice, tore my quadricep off the bone, tore my tricep off the bone, tore biceps, compound fracture in my tib fib. I got on the phone, I was talking to my wife. Sweetheart, if I don't get this procedure done, the thing you're gonna have to worry about if I come home is one of those handguns in this house ends up in my mouth. I said, it's that bad. Every day it's like, oh! I'm like, no, man, I'm doing this. I came down here to fucking do this, I'm doing this. So now they're gonna specialize and go in and hit my supraspinatus, hit my infraspinatus, hit my bicep tendon, hit my AC joint. I mean, they're gonna specialize because we're not just putting 40 million stem cells into the socket, because the socket, we'll put 10 in there, but we're gonna hit the infraspinatus, the supraspinatus, teres major, the teres minor, all my rotator cuffs that I've torn and had put on. They're thinning, they're atrophying. They need to be replenished, and so I can rebuild those. Inflammation is going to lead to pain, then that pain is going to become chronic, and then it's going to be you wake up in the morning and it's just like, I really want to wash my hair, but do I really want to take my hands above my head and do it? Those are the things that it's just like, now I'm at the point where I'm starting to get to where it's like I have to use a scrub brush on this because this shoulder's so bad to get this side of my body, because I can't reach, like, that's painful. The beauty was, especially now in COVID, was I had the ability to go to the San Diego airport and spend the night at the Westin, and then David picked me up and we drove down together to the clinic, and there was no airfare, there was no garbage of going through, the COVID restrictions and everything else. We just drove, and we were COVID tested when we got to the facility. One of the things that happens with stem cells is, because it's a solution, it goes into the spongy discs, and it basically expands that disc, and so you get immediate, relief of the impingements and everything else, the herniations and everything else that you have, and then as time goes on, especially the first 30 days, those stem cells go in and they start to produce, and basically, are the building blocks that regenerate what, United States or American medicine says can't be done. They take the umbilical cord of a pregnant woman that goes term. Okay, they go term. The fetus is not involved. Okay, so they scrape the wart and jelly out. They take that, they cultivate it, and they make the stem cells. The people at this place they've specialized my stem cell treatment to what my body needs. Anytime I need some extra luck, I always represent the NWO. Old school is, we're gonna fuse you from C2 to C7. Me, I'll be injected.
We injected from C3 all the way down to C6 in the discs and the respective facets at each level on both sides.
A lot of this damage is because of this logo, so I'd like to, if I'm going to get healthy, I'd like to kind of be wearing the colors.
The procedure consists, first of all, in identifying which discs are the most affected, and then identifying them with the X-ray machine, the fluoroscopy machine. Once we have identified those places, we need to numb the area with lidocaine. Then after the lidocaine makes its effect, we proceed to insert the needles into the neck. The 3 needles at the same time. Once they are placed, we inject the stem cells into each disc. The needles go out and the disc procedure is done. Now we move on to the facets. Doing the facets is quite similar but not the same. We also use the fluoroscopy machine and we identify which facets are being affected, but this time we do it one by one. One facet, inject the stem cells and get out. Another facet, injection and get out. And so on. We do that on the right side and on the left side. Overall, we injected on him 60 million stem cells, divided through the discs and the 6 facet joints on those same levels.
Improvement of my quality of life, the improvement of my ability to work out, to be able to, all I want to be able to do at this point in my life is to get on the Smith machine, an incline press, 225 pounds, 12 times for 4 sets, superset cable crossovers with it. That's all I want to do. And not have grinding shoulders and pain that's unbearable. Like, just be able to do that. So, and I think that's an obtainable goal. And the only way I won't make it is if I don't let this process do what it's supposed to do. I know that if I get follow-up MRIs in 90 days, I'm gonna have different spacing in my shoulders, different spacing in my neck. My knee that isn't replaced, that's drugged this body around while the other one was, withered. As I was basically the three-legged dog that you see running around. It's the only avenue. It's the only avenue we have right now. It's it. This is it. And there's nothing else that does that. There's nothing else that does that. And why our government will not allow the stem cell treatment at the level that they do in other countries, as for instance, our neighbor Mexico, that you can drive to from San Diego, okay? This is a car ride, 20 minutes across the border to a hospital, then over to your hotel. There's restaurants. People have such a misconception of just Mexico in general. Like they're one of our biggest trade partners. They're like we would not function without this country. And the people here are very kind, very hardworking. The staff here is spot on. The doctors are brilliant, young, because it's a cutting edge medicine. That physical pain manifests itself into both psychological and just daily living. And for me, it was not only a relief of the physical pain. My neck didn't hurt when I woke up. My hands weren't asleep. My shoulders didn't grind when I took them above my head. My shoulders on an MRI right now, I shouldn't be able to pick I should be able to raise my hands much higher than this on an MRI, yet I can And I don't know. I shouldn't be able to. I'm 62 years old, and I got a little bit of pigment back in my hair. My skin tightened. I mean, you know, just everything in my body just had a rebirth. But I'm just saying, you know, take pain out of the equation, and I guarantee you, maybe you don't have to take Zoloft anymore. You're definitely not going to have to take your painkillers, even if you're eating Advil that's killing your kidneys. You know, I mean, it's like, get to the root and get some stem cells.